I just learned that using AI so much has made my brain mostly useless, but maybe that's okay. So check this out. A few weeks ago, I started developing this app for managing and creating stream schedules on Twitch. And this app is not very important to me, so I coded with AI like 100%. The problem is I had to test this app manually, which is super annoying as you can imagine, because I have to click through all of these UIs every single time the AI made changes to anything. It takes about a minute for the stream schedule to generate, so I have to sit around waiting for this to happen. This is like literally the least fun part of developing a product. So I hooked up this API to test the app. So the AI that codes would call a different AI that tests the app in the browser, and they would cycle with each other infinitely until the feature is done, which works great for functional issues, but the AI cannot tell when the UI is nonsensical, like size of buttons, how everything looks like crap, text being on top of each other, etc., etc. But I had a brilliant solution for this. I hired a guy. I switched out the API so that instead of calling an AI tester, it now calls this human tester. And the human writes the JSON in the exact same way that the AI would. The AI writes the code, it calls an API for the guy, he tests the code, and the AI fixes the problem, and then calls the API for the guy again, and this just happens in an infinite loop until the feature is done, and now I never have to use my app again. So I would sit around coming up with features for weeks, and it was working great. I never had to test my app until one day I had a very simple feature that took a really long time to make, like over an hour. And I was looking into why, and it turns out the guy that I hired had been sick for a few days, and he hadn't tested anything, which means so many bugs had accumulated in the code that it was still working through bugs from days ago before I could work on this feature. Now, this was an obvious problem, to which I had an obvious solution, which is hiring more guys. And now I have so many guys that there's always somebody available to test this app. But this creates another problem. I'm not working on this app very often, and so all of these guys are sitting around not being utilized. And that's why I bought runhuman.com, where I open up an API so that any of your AIs can also call our guys to test your app. It's worked really well for me, so I would recommend it. And now you won't ever have to test your app either.